This has to be the longest maintenance break I've ever seen. At the point you guys are seeing this video, the update should be live, so make sure to have fun with it, and we will be covering that content here shortly here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. Now, normally, whenever a brand new update comes out, I tend to prioritize the update itself rather than sneak peeks. However, this time around, the Willow sneak peek I find a bit more important than others, because I don't think Willow is in a phenomenal spot right now if she is released like she is right now in the dev build into the game. I find it especially important to touch on this, seeing that masteries are now a thing in the game. Playing with decent brawlers is going to make getting mastery points for them much easier. So for example, once Willow is introduced to the game, which is in April, and you use the option to unlock her first when she is released, it might be way in your best interest to go with a different brawler if you are prioritizing progression of masteries and just having better brawlers at your disposal. But if that stuff doesn't necessarily matter to you and you just like the brand new content, I will be going over some of the better qualities that Willow has and the potential she has if she does get a buff. So Willow is the brand new mythic brawler here coming to the game in April once again, and you know, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything like that, but we did predict the rarity, chromatic and mythic. Willow will be receiving a skin here in this update called AXL Willow, costing a grand total of 29 gems. It's a pretty basic skin, just a recoloring here, no notable animation changes coming with it. So Willow is relatively squishy, having 3,750 HP. However, it's not a huge problem, seeing that she is the newest lobber here in the game. Also, another really important thing about this update, lobbers are getting an indirect buff in this update by quite a big margin because of the indestructible walls. Now, getting into some of the weaker aspects when it comes to Willow, one of her biggest hangups here is her basic attack. So her basic attack deals a grand total of 1,800 damage. Pretty good, not super crazy. Just for perspective here, another lobber with somewhat similar basic attack mechanics here, Barley, having a similar radius to Willow, but dealing 2 chip damages of 2,280 damage, so quite a bit less than Barley. While at the same time, Willow's attacks are poison damage, which have their benefits here in the game, such as limiting players to healing up. However, in my opinion, when it comes to poison chip damage, the benefits are outweighed by the negatives in most cases. Willow might be a bit of an exception, but when it comes to poison chip damage, a lot of the time having guaranteed damage right away is a bit better to get you out of those sticky situations when people are pressuring you, as well as for pivotal situations, much like in Brawl. If you gotta kill someone super fast, poison chip damage isn't great for that. While on top of that, another huge negative about the basic attack, and in my opinion, one of the things that's holding her back immensely, is she does not get immediate damage with the poison. It takes like a second before the poison starts rolling in here. Bam. Where, for example, another poison brawler, much like Byron here, gets immediate damage as soon as he attacks someone. If you unload your full ammo reserves on Byron, you can really get some quick immediate damage there, where Willow doesn't have that. This may be a thing that is fixed later on with her build. I'm not sure if this is intended or anything like that, but if it's not, and this is what Willow is meant to be doing with her basic attack, it is not that good. But next up, I want to get straight away into Willow's super, her definite best quality and most interesting one, and I think the thing that's responsible for her other mechanics being a little bit on the weaker side of things. So as you can see here with the super, we know she controls characters when landing, but it only lasts for 4 seconds, and we will be touching upon that a little bit later in this video, but it can also be broken once the controlled brawler reaches 30% HP. I'm not gonna lie, this mechanic is wild. It's one of those supers that has the potential to turn around a game in an instant, much like we see with Jean or Tara. One good mind control on a particular brawler can just totally upset everything. But I'm sure you guys saw this coming based on the title and the thumbnail of this episode. When it comes to having a broken mechanic like this, and the reason Willow is decent, one thing that's important is being able to get it quite often during the game. You have to land 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 basic attacks to get your super. Now for certain brawlers in this game, landing 5 basic attacks I don't think would be a huge problem, but for a lobber it can be tricky. Seeing that a lot of the time playing passive, you rely on the enemy teammate to be aggro and come into your range. The amount of basic attacks you actually get off and land is pretty dang minuscule compared to others. A lot of the qualities of a lobber brawler is really just controlling the map, using your pressure to maintain control of your lane, and using crowd control abilities to push brawlers around in awkward ways is the best way to play a lobber in this game. So I kid you not, testing against bots, even in the longest games like a bounty match, I've only gotten maximum of 2. In quicker game modes, much like Brawl Ball or some hot zone situations, I could see this super not even coming into use. While on top of that being incredibly hard to get, it is a skill shot super, much like a Jean, but even more difficult to land compared to Jean, seeing the width of this super. What makes an attack easier to land is the width. It's the reason why a B shot is easier to land than a Piper. But in comparison here, as you guys can see, Jean to Willow is quite substantial. So hey, if you find yourself missing a lot of Jean pulls, you're going to be missing a lot of Willow pulls. A great example here is, as you guys can see, a very pivotal super, much like Jean, only requires 4 basic attacks to land, while on top of that, Jean can charge up his super far easier than Willow, seeing that he has pretty impressive range when the basic attack breaks off, where Willow is a lobber. On top of that, the duration in which you can utilize it isn't impressive at all, dude. As you guys can see, already done. We got off 2 basic attacks and we were actually relatively close to that Piper. 4 seconds is just brutally short to do anything significant with the super, almost giving a little bit too much weight to the super. If you guys ever found yourself playing Tara or Jean and camping the super, waiting for a moment to utilize it, this is even more limiting because the potential to waste it or not get much use out of it is even higher than brawlers like Jean or Tara. The mechanic is incredibly flashy and has the potential to turn the tides of any 3v3 match, much like Jean and Tara, but when it comes down to the actual impact of the super, the best way I like to look at it is with Jean and Tara, you can almost guarantee a kill if you use a super and land it, where it's not so much as a certain thing with Willow here if you land that super. It doesn't feel like this huge payoff like a Jean or a Tara super. There's just so many things to be said that are lacking about this super. So hard to land. But another huge one here, as you guys can see, I'm attacking the Jean, but it doesn't give any super. One incredibly important thing when it comes to pivotal supers here in this game, much like Jean and Tara, is the ability to cycle supers off of one super. For example, if you're playing Jean and you land a pull with full ammo, you land all 3 of those shots while the brawler's getting pulled in. You only need 1 more shot to get another super, which Willow does not have that luxury with her super. I think the biggest thing holding her back when it comes to the amount of times you can get your super during a game. I mean, the list can go on and on. There's so many other things, much like smaller ones, like when you land a super on an individual, you are susceptible to damage. If you die, you lose control of the brawler, so people can just target you. Of course, you can't shoot your super through walls, so in order to actually use your super, you have to go out where it's dangerous. It's just crazy. Again, I think there is a ton of potential here with this brawler, but I think they made her purposely weak because they were a bit scared of a mechanic like this. Being able to control an enemy brawler for a short duration, giving away control to the player, is such a crazy mechanic that needs to be balanced, right? So it doesn't feel bad. But I think you guys get the picture here on just her base overall character. Next up, I want to get straight away into the gadgets and star powers. Starting off with the very first gadget, we have Spellbound. Willow's next Lantern curse deals 500 more damage and applies the entire damage instantly rather than over time. Much like most of the brawlers, their added abilities, star powers, and gadgets seem to be outs, things to protect them when people get close by. And this is a definite good one. If a aggro brawler comes into your vicinity, you can activate the gadget, throw it down, and deal quick 2,300 damage. Also, I'm not sure if this is intended, but when you activate the gadget, it drops a pool that deals 555 damage one time. It doesn't say anywhere in the gadget description that that's the actual functionality of it, so it might be just a glitch, but if not, if someone's right on top of you, you can wrap up some quick damage with that as well. But, dude, I feel like I've been saying but a lot of the time when it comes to some of her good qualities, but a very big but, because this gadget doesn't charge your super, dude. It doesn't make any sense to me why this would be a thing with this gadget. For example, a somewhat similar gadget, much like Brock's here, doesn't increase the damage, but it changes the basic attack and only works on one basic attack, but it doesn't take away his supercharge from landing the shot. It's just bizarre. Again, I don't know if this is an intended mechanic, but boy oh boy does it feel bad not getting super from that. But her second gadget is called Dive. Willow dives for 2 seconds, becoming untargetable but unable to take any action for the duration. I'm gonna be frank with you all, I don't like this gadget at all. It's pretty much so a worse version of Lou's gadget that makes him invincible. As you can see here, when we activate the gadget, bullets pass through us. We don't take any damage, but where the good part, I guess, from Lou's gadget is that he's invulnerable. He can use his body as a shield to protect his teammates, but Willow can't do that with this. While on top of that, the main qualities that makes Lou's gadget such a memeable one is that you can't move with it. And it's the same exact thing for Willow here. When you activate the damage, you are locked in place, making you incredibly vulnerable once people get used to the timing of the gadget here. I don't know, I feel like this gadget would have been so dang cool if you could actually move with this. For example, going under the wall here or something, retreating back as a lobber under the wall and having protection after that gadget would be super good for mobility and just her base mechanics as a lobber. This gadget is bad, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it got memed on more than Lou's gadget because it's just a worse version. But next up, moving on to the star powers, the very first one is called Love is Blind. Lantern's Curse also reduces reload speed of affected brawlers by 25%. I think this is actually a pretty dang good star power, seeing that you're able to stay alive quite easily with Willow here. Getting that chip damage out and applying that 25% reload speed decrease is great, especially on brawlers that already have slow reload speed, much like a Piper. Then moving along to the last star power here, Obsession. Hexed enemies gain 75% movement speed while mind controlled. Now, I believe this is the selling point to me on Willow, this one star power. Unfortunately, this ability isn't working in the dev build, so I can't show you guys what 75% movement speed increase looks like because there's no brawler in this game that comes close to that speed. But any type of speed increase for Willow when controlling that enemy unit, being able to get closer to individuals faster, is going to be super important. I think a must use on Willow. I got a feeling it's not working in the dev build because there is no brawler here that has ever moved faster than 75% movement speed increase. Like, I just want to put it in perspective for you guys. 75% movement speed is wild. If you guys thought Rico was super fast and hard to hit when he goes into his robo retreat under 40% health, that's only 34% movement speed increase, dude. This ability is going to be more than 2 times faster than Rico, and it's even going to be faster than the movement speed modifier. So the movement speed modifier increases a brawler's movement speed by a flat 300 points. The fastest movement speed we have in the game is 820, which a few brawlers have, right? So Crow, Leon, Mortis. So the movement speed on Leon here works out to being close to 37% increase, which of course that percent would vary depending on the base movement speed of the brawler in general. But I think you guys get it here. If y'all thought the movement speed modifier made brawlers incredibly hard to hit, that was only 34-ish% on Leon. 75% we've literally never seen before. Where with the movement speed modifier, Leon's going at a pace of 1,120. But with this star power that Willow has, he's going to be moving at 1,435. No one's ever moved that fast in Brawl Stars. While I'm thinking about it, 75% is so high it might be detrimental for you to actually land your shots when you're moving that fast. But I think we can all agree this is an ability that will be great on Willow here. If you only have 4 seconds to use this, the time it takes to get close to an individual with an aggro brawler is going to be cut way down. So I got a feeling this is going to be good, but really, who knows? At the end of the day, I am the most excited about this when it comes to Willow, just from the sole fact of testing game mechanics, right? Such crazy speed. But that is just about all I got for you here on Willow. In my opinion, if nothing is changed to her, seeing that everything is subject to change in dev build, she is going to be very weak. Like, super weak. I would dare say the worst brawler in the game, dude. But yeah, I thought it was important to not prioritize the update that came out here today, but take a deep dive into what I feel about Willow. We do have some time before Willow is released here in April, but I at least wanted to give you guys a baseline check in here, not just saying, oh, this brawler's broken because of this one mechanic, because that information is very important when deciding whether or not which brawler you want to unlock. Seeing that masteries are now a thing and we get some pretty dang good progression from it, and now that we have more control over the brawlers we unlock on our accounts, choosing certain brawlers is so much more important and much more impactful nowadays in this game. But yeah, hopefully you all found this useful here. Be sure to let me know what you're thinking about Willow. Am I just looking at this in a negative light? I feel like I've been covering this game enough to see so many brawlers being released in the game just to get a gut feeling about a certain brawler, and my gut feeling is saying, hey, Willow ain't good. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you all have a phenomenal rest of your day. Enjoy the update today. I'm sure it's going to be exciting. More content with that to come. But yeah, adios and take care.